morning. Welcome to the world news of salmon farming for the 2nd of August. The legacy of Billund Aquaculture. Billund Aquaculture has declared bankruptcy due to a series of controversial projects that financially overwhelmed the company, marking an end to its operations. As a former flagship in Denmark's aquaculture industry, Billund Aquaculture was renowned for its innovative recirculating aquaculture systems, Aas, originally developed for eel farming and later adapted to other species like salmon and trout. The company's leadership, including CEO Christopher Lund, cited historical operational challenges and capital insufficiencies as key factors in its demise. Despite the setback, Billund Aquaculture leaves behind a legacy of innovation and skilled professionals, many of whom are expected to continue contributing to the aquaculture sector's growth worldwide. Akvafuture. We are very pleased to deliver $84 million on the bottom line. Akvafuture, a fish farming company in Brønnøysund, more than doubled its revenue and profit in 2023, driven by strong biological results from its closed aquapods used for farming salmon. In 2023, its operating profit increased by 110% and pre-tax profit surged by 159% compared to 2022, reaching 84.2 million after tax. Despite these achievements, CEO Thomas Myrholt expressed frustration over government regulations, as the company faced challenges in renewing special permits essential for their environmentally friendly fish farming operations. Consequently, a significant portion of their biomass had to be slaughtered in the same calendar year. The company's revenue soared to 498.2 million, marking a 125% increase. Myrholt criticizes the fishing authorities' reluctance to support closed farming systems and highlights the lack of regulatory support that hampers innovation and broader implementation. New yearly low for salmon prices. This week has been challenging for the fish farming industry with a noticeable decline in salmon prices. Despite some stabilization in prices for salmon over 6 kilograms, there is a general downward adjustment expected for smaller sizes. The market saw an unexpectedly high export volume last week, particularly from Nordland, where warmer waters have led to emergency harvests. The industry is grappling with uncertainty for the coming week, especially with the holiday season in Europe. Key players are still in discussions to determine the exact price shifts, with estimates suggesting a slight increase from current lows amidst slow factory operations. From negative to positive for Sjór after a challenging year. Sjór, a seafood distributor primarily dealing in salmon, both nationally and internationally, experienced a challenging yet successful year in 2023. Despite a 3.3% drop in revenue, ending at 5.5 billion NOK, the company saw a 108.8% increase in operating profit to 8.6 million and a substantial turnaround in net income to 17.4 million NOK from a previous loss of -67.3 million NOK. The European market contributed 57% of sales, with Asia and the UK following. Sjór faced significant price fluctuations and lower contract shares, but benefited from overall stable salmon prices. The firm invested heavily in systems and a new factory to boost capacity and reported positive net cash flow of 166.2 million NOK, with a final equity of 93 million NOK and debt of 471.1 million NOK. The company aims to secure future operations despite declining volumes since its inception in 2021. Change of leadership at Aas Mek. Verksted Frode Johan Aas has temporarily assumed the role of CEO at Aas Mek. Verksted, following the resignation of Bjørn Magne Aas. Frode Johan, one of the largest shareholders, previously served as the company's production manager and will hold the CEO position until January when Øyvind Hegdal from Vard is set to take over. This leadership change, registered on July 19, 2023, comes at a time when Aas Mek, Verksted, is experiencing significant growth despite a lack of new contracts at the beginning of the year. Previous CEO Bjørn Magne Aas had been in position since January 2021. Strong growth in results for Aas Mek. Verksted Aas Mek. Verksted, a shipyard based in Vestnes, Møre og Romsdal, reported strong financial results for 2023, despite a decrease in turnover and having no new contracts at the beginning of the year. They delivered 2 new builds and completed 33 conversion and repair projects, with plans to deliver 4 new builds over the next 3 years. The company achieved an operating profit of NOK 228.5 million and a pre-tax profit of NOK 215.7 million, marking significant increases from 2022. Despite a challenging start, the shipyard saw increased interest from customers and views long-term market prospects as positive. However, it notes difficulties in achieving full capacity utilization in the coming year due to fewer new build orders. The company's equity at year-end stood at NOK 251 million, with a debt of NOK 439.1 million, while employing 75 staff members. 120,000 pink salmon swam past the salmon trap in Tana. Only 7,666 humpback salmon were caught, a species considered invasive and a threat to the native Atlantic salmon in Norway. Set to reappear in Norwegian rivers in 2025, the humpback salmon, which spawns every other year, poses particular challenges for the Tana River, one of the world's most significant salmon rivers. Local fisherman Per Torleiv Ravna criticizes the current method for catching humpback salmon, claiming it's ineffective and risks harming the native salmon population. Last year, the Tana River's fish trap, Norway's largest for humpback salmon, managed to capture only about 6% of the fish, with 120,000 swimming past, while 7,666 were caught. Rostein quintuples the yield to a 250 million. Norwegian company Haradariet saw an increase in both revenue and operating profit from 2022 to 2023, despite noticing reduced investments in their fleet. Sales revenue rose by 7.8% to NOK 472.4 million in 2023, and operating profit climbed to NOK 313.6 million. The company operates a fleet of 19 fish transport vessels, primarily in Norway, but also offering services in Denmark, the Faroe Islands, Scotland, and Iceland. However, decreased investments in the sector have been observed due to uncertainties about shipping tax regulations and increased costs. In 2023, the company had 293 sailing employees, with only 2% being women. The board was exclusively male. At the year's end, the company had an equity of NOK 856.7 million, out of a total balance of NOK 4,301.6 million. To accommodate reduced investments, the company has set aside NOK 250 million in dividends for 2023, up from NOK 50 million in 2022. Brutal decline in the net profit of Eide Fjordbruk. Eide Fjordbruk in Hollandsdalen experienced several negative factors leading to a 3% drop in revenue, and its operating margin decreased from 29.7% in 2022 to 18.5% in 2023. Contributing factors included a significant tax increase, with the company paying NOK 47.6 million in corporate tax and NOK 109.5 million in resource rent tax. Consequently, net profit declined sharply from NOK 279.6 million in 2022 to NOK 44.5 million in 2023. The board attributes this decline to one-time effects in 2022, reduced prices, higher production costs, and the introduction of resource rent tax. Despite the challenges, Eide Fjordbruk allocated NOK 50 million for dividends, unchanged from the previous year, and reported an equity of NOK 530.7 million out of a total balance of NOK 1,730.4 million at year-end. The company remains wholly owned by the Eide family.